I'm about 8 hours into SD Gundam Battle Alliance, and I want to give a brief overview of my thoughts so far, whether or not I think it's worth purchasing, all that fun stuff. But I want to give a quick shout out that there will be visual spoilers in this video, but I've done my best to cut around cutscenes, things like that, so it'll just be some gameplay spoilers and some suits that appear spoilers for the early game. But honestly, this game is a blast. The combat is not quite as deep as I want it to be. It's not quite as deep as, say, Gundam Extreme Versus, but it is still pretty deep. There's a lot you can do when it comes to dash canceling and going to melee combos. Each suit has a different set of sub weapons and a different set of combos that allow you to really balance things out together. I think that the variety of suits is really, really cool, and I'm enjoying my time with just about all of them. My only real complaint so far is that it takes a lot of currency to upgrade suits, and your newer missions start to get to the point of, hey, it is tough. These missions get pretty difficult in places, and you really need to be upgrading your suits. So you kind of are incentivized to run missions more than once so that you can get enough currency or to sell parts. And if I was more liberal in selling my parts, I think that it would be easier for me to upgrade everything. But I'm kind of holding on to a bunch of parts right now because I don't know what parts I'm going to want to keep, you know? A lot of parts drop, though, so there's not really an issue there. It's just that I'm being stingy. But I'm really enjoying my time with these different suits. I was surprised to find that I wound up enjoying playing the Freedom the most so far, and I've been using it quite a bit. Just the different varieties between ranged weapons to be able to combat mobile armors, which we'll talk about in a second, and the melee, which has a pretty quick melee with some good dodges built in to be able to mess with melee fights, are all really, really cool. I love the way that the regular boss fights work with enemy MSs that have different abilities of their own. Some of them are extremely powerful and will charge you down. Some of them have a lot of powerful ranged abilities, and you have to try and get around those. Some of them are really fast. And just managing those with your partners and the skills you've chosen with your suit and the parts you put on them are all really, really satisfying. I find the combat alone to be worth playing this game for, in my personal opinion. The mobile armor fights are difficult. Those things are tough. Those mobile armors do not play around. They have large hitboxes with which they're able to hit you with, and they have pretty good spread of weaponry. So I spend most of my time kind of keeping my distance with ranged attacks and then getting in and hitting the weak spot when I see it open. And I do think the mobile armors maybe have just a smidge too much health, but towards the end game, I feel like I'll be upgraded enough that it probably won't matter. The story so far has been really interesting as well, the way that different characters interact with each other. I find that a lot of the interactions are really heartfelt. The people who wrote these lines, who wrote the story for this game, really know these characters and care about them. And some of the interactions that I refuse to spoil in this review really got me. They got me good. I think the characters are fun. I think the mystery that's going on is really interesting. I like the main core cast quite a bit, and the music is stellar. This game, I'm only 8 hours in. Obviously, it has a long way to go, right? But this game is already one of the best games I've played this year, and definitely one of the best Gundam games I've played. I really, really like it. If I could get more capital for playing missions, I think there might be some parts that give capital up, then I need to just equip some of those and do some runs. Because I'd like to be able to play around with a bunch of different mobile suits, you know? Because you actually wind up with a pretty good assortment of mobile suits not that far in. I'm 8 hours in, and I have 22 mobile suits already, though granted, I do have some of the early unlocks because of the deluxe edition. But it's quite a bit of different options to play around with. And so if I had just a little bit more capital to be able to upgrade them all a little easier, I think that would be nice. But as I get into later missions, I know I'll probably have enemies that drop a lot more capital, so I think that will balance out. Yeah, I'm just excited to keep playing. I'm excited to keep unlocking mobile suits. I'm excited to keep seeing more of the story. I know this is a little short mini review, but I just wanted to give like a, hey, I'm 8 hours in. Is this game worth it? Yeah, I think so if you like Gundam games. The combat could be more deep. There could be more combos added in to make it a little bit better. The mobile armors have maybe a bit too much health. The boss enemies do a lot of damage. But when you add in the fact that you have your allies, which the AI allies are not great, but they do help. They will pick you up if you fall. and the ability to play with other people, I think it winds up being a really cool experience all told. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Until next time, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that SD Gundam Battle Alliance has to offer.